Hey YouTube, what's going on? John here. Now that 2011 is right around the corner, I want to talk about 5 anticipated tech products for the new year. These aren't in any particular order, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first one I want to talk about is the PlayStation phone. This has been rumored for a while now, and recently there's been leaked photos, which has only made the rumors more credible. The expected launch of the PlayStation phone is February 2011. Pricing is unknown at this point. Also, tech specs for this PlayStation phone is that it will run Android 3.0. It will have a 1 gigahertz processor, 512 megabytes of RAM, 1 gigs of ROM, either a 3.7 or a 4.1 inch screen, and a micro SD card slot. Like I said before, this has been rumored for a while now, and recently photos have come out, so this makes it more credible that this PlayStation phone is actually going to happen. And it makes more sense for Sony to improve upon the PSP and add smartphone software and to the gaming capabilities of the PSP to compete with Apple's iPhone 4. The next product I want to talk about is the Blackberry Playbook. This was announced a while back by RIM, and this is their answer to Apple's iPad. Expected to ship sometime in 2011, not sure when. Pricing is undetermined at this point. And as far as the tech specs, it's going to have a 7-inch diagonal LCD display with 1024 by 600 WSVGA resolution. Going to come with 1 gig of RAM, a 1 gigahertz dual-core processor, Adobe Flash 10.1, a micro USB port, micro HDMI port. It's going to have 2 cameras, one in the front, one in the back. The camera on the front is going to be a 3 megapixel camera, and the one in the back is going to be a 5 megapixel camera. It's going to include Bluetooth 2.1 plus EDR, and it's going to support 802.11 A, B, G, and N Wi-Fi. So far, it looks like an interesting device compared to Apple's iPad. There's been a browser comparison demo with the iPad, so this actually looks like a good competitor to the iPad. It's going to make Apple step up their game with the iPad 2. The third product I want to talk about is the Nintendo 3DS. This is expected to launch sometime in 2011. I believe it was earlier suspected to launch in before the holidays in 2010, but it was pushed back. But the expected launch now is sometime in 2011. Price is unknown at this point. Expected specs for this device is a 3.5-inch widescreen top screen display with 800 by 240 resolution and a 3.02 lower screen with a resolution of 320 by 240. The big thing with the Nintendo 3DS is glasses-free 3D gaming, and this will be the first attempt at 3D gaming, actually, let alone be at glasses-free. So it's going to have 2 rear-facing cameras, 0.3 megapixel one for 3D imaging and 1 front-facing camera for head tracking. It's going to be touchscreen, stylus inputs, ad hoc multi-device Wi-Fi connection, and support 802.11 Wi-Fi. The big problem with this device, though, is going to be the pricing. Currently, the Nintendo DS and the DSi sell for $130 and $170 respectively. So a Nintendo 3DS, where's that going to come in at? They're going to price point it at $199, and I think if they do that, they're gonna be able to sell a lot of them, actually. But I would expect this to cost in the $200 range, so it might be a little more expensive for people's taste than they're willing to pay for. So the next product I want to talk about is not actually a new product coming out in 2011, but new to the carrier. That being known is the iPhone 4 on Verizon. This won't be a new version of the iPhone, except for it being CDMA compatible to work on Verizon's network. What they're expecting is an announcement sometime in January, maybe early February, for release on the Verizon network. Expected price is still supposed to be the price point of $199 for the 16 gig and $299 for the 32 gig. Nothing else besides CDM A technology is going to change in this. It's going to have 16 and 32 gig storage, the A4 processor, 960 by 640 resolution with a Retina display, 5 megapixel rear facing camera and the front facing camera for FaceTime, and iOS 4.2. And there's also been some rumors that it'll have LTE support for the Verizon network, which just launched in December. So that may happen. As far as the other rumors on this Verizon iPhone, there have been rumors for the last year and a half on this happening. So this right now is just a rumor. It's not set in stone that this is going to happen. So if it actually does happen, that will end this exclusivity for AT&T. But they just locked up a lot of people into new 2-year contracts with the new iPhone 4. So I don't see it having a huge impact on AT&T specifically. But I do see Verizon selling a lot to current customers. So we'll see what happens. The last product I want to talk about for 2011 is the iPad 2. Now, I've previously done a video giving my predictions of what I think is going to be in the next iPad, so I'm quickly going to go over this one here. It's not confirmed yet that the iPad 2 actually exists or will be put out, but Apple has a habit of updating their ISO devices every year, so we can pretty much expect this to come out. But what is expected is a late January, early February announcement on what the next iPad will have. What we expect for it to have is a front-facing and rear-facing cameras for FaceTime. It's going to be thinner, it's going to be lighter, it's going to be faster. Retina display coming to the iPad. The actual design of the iPad might change. They might make it the back flat like the iPhone 4, put a glass panel on it. Pricing obviously is unknown at this point, but I expect them to keep it either the same or even possibly lower it, but I would more or less expect them to keep the pricing the same and maybe even upgrade the storage sizes on the iPad 2. So the iPad 2 isn't confirmed yet, but we can pretty much expect it to be because of the habits of Apple updating every year. So if you have any comments or questions about any of these products that are anticipated for 2011, leave those down below. Feel free to subscribe to my channel so you can be updated when I put out a new video. And you can also follow me on Twitter at MacForLife83. And if you have any other comments or questions, leave those in the comments section. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.